Hello, and welcome to my capstone project. My name is Katie Bromley, and this is what I have been working on over the past nearly 2 years. I am currently in the part-time MSW cohort. To begin, I would like to do a land acknowledgement from where I've been completing most of my MSW work. These photos were taken from my property. Traditionally, this was land that belonged to the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. I'd like to acknowledge that I do live on their stolen land. To start, I'd like to give some background information of why I decided to start my MSW. Getting my Master's of Social Work was always something that I had planned to do. I just wanted to get a few years work experience after completing my bachelor's. As I began to look more into jobs and work in different jobs in the field, I realized I was becoming more and more interested in health-focused jobs, and that my Bachelor of Social Work was limiting me to what I was eligible for. After looking through various online and part-time options, I discovered Renison. I was particularly interested because of the health focus of this master's. Also, I was initially concerned slightly as I had a undiagnosed learning disability until I was 29 when I discovered I had attention deficit disorder. So the idea of learning independently at home was concerning. Little did I know how much remote work lay ahead of me in the coming year 2020. The creative piece that I chose to reflect my capstone is a macrame. Initially, I thought that the various knots, textures of thread, and colors that could be used would be a good chance to express myself. Additionally, this was a type of art that I had never completed before, so I thought it would be a nice parallel to learn a new skill while I was also expanding my education. Completing the capstone in itself was self-care for me. I find it also reflected some theories in art therapy. One of which is it gave me a lot of space to create my own interpretation of how I found my Master of Social Work journey. From the time I spent searching for the stick base to determining what kind of colors of thread I wanted to use, cruising through vintage stores finding the right beads, I found that it was also a practice of mindfulness. While completing these tasks, I was very aware of my surroundings and what was available to me in that moment. To start, let's talk about the stick. This stick I found along the shoreline of the Ottawa River. This particular region had been used by First Nations people, mainly the Algonquin, and they had lived there for 8,000 years. When European settlers, much like my own ancestors, began to utilize the river for fur trade and later farming to additional logging on this stolen land. By taking the stick from the shore of the stolen land, I'm acknowledging colonization, and as a settler, my direct privilege and benefit which came from colonization. This strong base that I have, much like the stick of the macrame, I wanted to acknowledge that it provided me a better start to life. The blue threads. Each shade of blue of this macrame represents my partner and each of my children. The relationships formed within my family unit was my core value and my reason for inspiration of completing my Master of Social Work. They are placed in the first section because of this reason, as a reminder that they were my initial inspiration. The color blue was chosen to represent each of them simply because that was their stated favorite color. The green threads. I used multiples of 3 for the green threads to allow for even amounts to create a grand total of 9 green sections. These sections represent the 9 competencies of social work and the completion of reflecting them through the written section of my capstone. Additionally, each section also represents the 8 courses plus the practicum of my Master of Social Work that I needed to complete in order to obtain my degree. I chose the color green as to me it represents growth. I experienced much growth in learning in all of these courses, and I hope to continue my growth through the social work competencies as I progress through my career. The red threads. Each shade of red is a reflection of my career as a social worker. One shade is for the past, one shade of red is for the present, and the final shade of red is for the future. I chose the red threads to be on the opposite side and furthest away from the blue threads representing my family to add as a reminder of a work-life balance. Choosing to have my career and family separate is very important to me. I chose the color red because it reflects passion. I have a passion for advocacy and social justice. This has led me to my chosen career path in social work. I hope that the red reminds me of my initial inspiration to pursue social work and obtaining my master's. Creating this video and reflecting on my creation of the creative piece of my capstone, I'm able to see some parallels of the social work practice in general. Originally, these were my mental images of the macrames that I would be creating. As so often with our work and clients, we are called to create more attainable goals and revise our plans and have adaptations. Even though what I created was not what I originally had imagined, I was still able to form something beautiful that I am proud of. As I am completing my master's, I know that I need to find a home for my capstone macrame. And for that, I've chosen my office at work. Again, this would be me separating my work-home life separation. It had been living at my home, but now with the completion, I'll be able to hang it in my office. My hopes is, in hanging it in my office, it will be a visual reminder of me for my time learning and growing at Renison. Thank you for watching my video.